Here we are on the second page of the 4.2 notes. We're looking at Hamilton's apportionment method. So if you look at this first example, this is one that we saw in 4.1. We actually worked out the quotas in the last section, so those are given to us here. And this is how they're going to apportion the 160 seats in the Congress. So we see the quotas and we see that adding up to 160. So remember, for Hamilton method, we want to split up the lower quota, which is to round the number down, and then the decimal part we're going to bring down here. So we're just going to go through and kind of split those up. And then we want to add up all the lower quotas and see how many seats we've given away in our initial apportionment. All right, so we'll go 66, 53, 26, and 13. That adds up to be 158. So remember, there's 160 seats, so that means we have 2 to give away. So we're going to look for the 2 highest decimals. So we see 0.8 is the biggest, 0.6 is the next biggest. So we'll give this one away first, this one second, and then that's going to give away all of our seats. All right, so we're giving one more seat to D, so that's going to bump them to 14. One more seat to C is 27. A and B are not going to change at all, so we're going to bring those numbers down. And then if we just want to check what we've done, if we add up all of these numbers across here, we should get the total number of seats, which is 160. So if the quota is already given, this is a pretty fast process. All right, so let's try another one. This was the bus route problem that we did in the last section. So this is the number of buses per route. So obviously we can't give away partial buses, so we have to figure out how to work that out. So we'll split up the lower quota with the residue. So we're just splitting up the whole number part with the decimal, and we'll do that all the way across. Oops, I almost put that in there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, one more. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add up all of these whole numbers. And that comes out to be 121. Now, I can add these up to get the total, or I can read in the problem and see that the total should be 125. So here I've got 121. That means I have 4 seats to give away. So when you're comparing decimals, it's really nice if they all have the same number of decimal places. So this one is 0.7. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 0 on that. That way I can compare, for example, 88 is bigger than 70, or 56 is smaller than 70, and it makes it a little bit easier. All right, so I'm looking for 4 seats to give away. So it looks like my biggest is 0.88, and then right behind that would be 0.87. So that would be first and second. I still have 2 more to give away. So it looks like 0.70 would be third, and 0.62 would be fourth. So that tells us who gets the extra seats. Okay, so A didn't get an extra seat, they stay at 43. B bumps up 1, so they bump up to 30. C bumps up to 20. D bumps up to 14. E bumps up to 10. And F did not get an extra seat, so it stays at 8. So you want to take a second and add all of these up and just verify that that adds up to be the 125 buses. So this tells you how many buses you would assign to each of the routes. All right, so here's our last example. We've got a small country with 5 states, and we're given the quota, and we can see that the total number of seats is 137. All right, so we're going to split this up. Lower quota is 41, residue is 0.2. Just go all the way across doing this. All right, so if I add all of these together, that adds up to be 134. So I know I have a total of 137. That means I have 3 seats to give away. So I want to find the 3 biggest, and they all have 1 decimal place. So here's your biggest, here's your second biggest, here's your third biggest. So first, second, and third. So you want to pay attention to how many seats you have to give away because that changes on each problem. So we have 41. This one gets an extra seat, so 32. This one gets a seat, they're at 25. This one bumps up to 23. This one did not get one, so they stay at 16. We're going to take a minute and add all of those together and just check and make sure you got your total seats of 137. All right, so that's Hamilton method when you are given the quota.